Look, the Aristotle Foundation reviewed 489 academic job postings across Canada in a recent...
So I see Ben Mulroney's flapping his gums again. And I wondered, what is this Aristotle Foundation that he's referring to? So it's a think tank for public policy. They're interested in a Canada where the sacrifices and successes of past generations are cherished and built upon, where citizens value each other for their character and merit. This is their mission statement and what they believe in, if you want to pause to read. So I wonder, who's running this joint? That'd be good old Mark. This guy over here. Mark's been in the business for 25 years as a public policy analyst and author. He's written books and studies and things normally put out by the Fraser Institute. Fraser Institute. Where have I heard that? Oh yeah, these guys. Who do I know that keeps talking about this Fraser Institute? How about this guy? This guy's a psychologist, an author, and a media commentator. Now, when I say psychologist, that's technically. So this guy's technically been a registered member of the College of Psychologists of Ontario since 1999, but he stopped seeing patients in 2017. I wonder why. Apparently, he made rather disgusting social media posts about people who use they, them pronouns. He referred to a then city councillor who uses they, them pronouns as an appalling, self-righteous, moralizing thing. Yeah, because of course that's what he said. Okay, so who else likes to quote the Fraser Institute? About this guy. I'm going to actually refer you to an article by The Reformed Perspective. Just to give you an idea of which way they lean politically, they're sponsored by all the truckers and they're equipping Christians to think, speak, and act. Just in case you wanted to try to discredit this next part. I mean, this isn't a surprise. We've seen him speak in the House of Commons. But as a teen, Poilievre attended events put on by the BC-based free market think tank, the Fraser Institute. He also read Milton Friedman's Capitalism and Freedom. Lord knows we've all seen the clips of him quoting Milton Friedman. And he argues that free markets are effective, moral, and needed for political freedom. Because of course he did. This article also goes on to say that he would lean into being on the attack rather than leaning backwards to be on the defensive. You could always count on Pierre taking the fight to the other side rather than letting the other side take the fight to him. That's all he does is the offensive. Carney this, Carney that, Trudeau this, Trudeau that, Liberals this, Liberals that. Oh my God, snap out of it. Anyway, just wanted to point out a little something else. Now, just a side note, this guy was just 18 when he joined Turning Point USA. 2 young white men getting involved in high school in political things. 2 young white men who seem to hold the same types of ideologies. I wonder why that is. I mean, it's very easy for a young teen to be swayed in opinion if they're convinced that they can be a star. I mean, hey, I wonder if I was a young white man who couldn't seem to get a woman and couldn't seem to get a real job and was approached by someone to say, you know what? We can make you famous. Do you think they took it? All of this is allegedly. Everything in this video is satire and for educational purposes only. No accusations have been verified. So what would these 2 types of think tanks have in common? Well, let's start here. A certain donation to expand a certain program after a certain person is no longer with us. I wonder who this woman is and why that would be so important to her. And this was her social media post. Under the name Foster Friess. Well, I wonder who that is. Oh, this guy. This guy who happens to be an investment manager and a prominent donor to the Republican Party and Christian right causes. Because of course he is. He's the guy who says things like, back in my day, they used Bayer aspirin for contraception. The gals put it between their knees and it wasn't that costly. The same guy that when he passed, the Heritage Foundation decided they needed to speak out about how wonderful he was. So that kind of guy's money has been funneled into TPUSA for years. And he's a part of the church. Who else is involved in the church? This article actually came out in 2023 about a US-based hate group using a shadowy network of lawyers and doctors to infiltrate Canada. They talk about the Alliance Defending Freedom has a deep and surprising connection in Ottawa. Pause to read. This article outlines the right-wing Christian organization behind successful efforts to roll back LGBTQ2S+ and abortion rights in the US, has been working in Canada for years. And while it's racked up some successes in this country, it's near impossible to tell what the group is up to because of Canada's lax finance laws, leading to calls for greater transparency. The nonprofit Alliance Defending Freedom has been a central player in efforts to limit the rights of women, queer, and trans people in the US since the 1990s. The organization has been so pervasive and effective in its campaigns to malign LGBTQ2S+ people that it was classified as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center. So this ADF group actually wants to use model legislation and lawsuits to overturn same-sex marriage, enact a total abortion ban, and strip away trans rights in the US. The ADF looks as though it has a similar playbook for Canada. Its biggest impact that we know of so far is a 2012 Alberta High Court ruling that protected religious-based hatred in the name of free speech. They've worked with anti-abortion groups. They've worked in opposing medical assistance in dying. Just a trigger warning for anyone from the rainbow community. The 2012 free speech case is back from 2002 when a pastor was fined for hate speech. I'll pause and let you read it because I don't want to read it out loud. And I would just like to point at the name at the bottom of this article. Has extensive ties to the Conservative Party of Canada and ultra-conservative Christian organizations. You can pause to read. He was an advisor to this guy, who also likes to quote the Fraser Institute, by the way. He still has connections with current high-ranking Conservative politicians, including our beloved PP, Alberta's recent Premier Jason Kenney. And he used to be the director of Pierre Poilievre's former polling and campaign management company. I'll let you pause to read some of the other stuff. Funny thing is, anytime you talk about that guy, you get shadow banned. Now what I want you guys to do is to Google this guy and the alleged connection to this guy. Because there's a few people who have a few theories about that. But I can't bring it up here unless I want my videos taken down. Are we not seeing how this is all just a giant circle? It's all connected. No, not yet? Okay, how about this one? How about these guys? And who's their leader? This guy. Who else is a member of this group? How about this guy? No, wait, not surprised? All right, how about this guy? I don't think we need to review the types of values he stands for. I encourage you to look up this article. What do the scriptures teach about nations, resistance to tyranny, good government, freedom, or liberty? Remember COVID? Did that time not drive many believers to the word and to the testimony? Ties back into this one. We all know how the church had a big influence with these guys. Not to mention that this guy backed them up. Are we seeing the big circle yet? No? Okay, last one. When's the last time there was a whole bunch of separatist sentiment in Canada? Drum roll, please. Although he places above average in rankings of Canadian prime ministers, his legacy remains controversial. He was criticized for his role in the resurgence of Quebec nationalism and accused of corruption in the Airbus affair because, it's a conservative thing. But that didn't come to light till after he was out of the office. What prime minister would that be? This guy! Let's bring it all back around now. And who's the son of that prime minister? And who's the perfect person to push this propaganda? This guy.